Commissioner Spray,
Present.
Commissioner Lukes,
Present.
Commissioner Palacios. Think about it too much.
Just call him Mr. P.
Mr. P.
Aquí estoy, está bien. Está bien.
We have a quorum.
Oh, yeah, all six of us.
You're right.
Would you please lead us in the
Six?
Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to everyone in the audience. It's so nice to have you there. All right, and you can ask your question about that. We're
Madam
moving
Chair,
on to number 4, approval of the agenda. Yes, Commissioner Lucas?
since I'm going to have to leave earlier, I would like to reverse item 6 with item 7 and put 7 and put 7B, exchange it with 7A.
Ms. Perkins, do you have any issue with that?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, so is that a motion, Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Lucas would like to exchange 7B with 6A.
No.
Is that right?
I would like to flip the 7 in matters of staff after matters.
Oh, so you
from
wanna flip
Historical
7 and
Preservation
6.
Commission,
Okay.
And 7B become 7A.
Oh, okay. Boy, you're specific.
Complicated.
Does anyone else want to go along with that?
Make a motion.
Didn't you just make a motion? We need a second.
Oh, I did that.
You made a motion, so we need a second.
I believe last time, in terms of a little bit of discussion, I thought that last time we were holding off the election of officers until we were fully staffed.
That is true, we were.
I mean, that's what I was told.
But we don't know when that's going to happen. I mean,
Well, I know, but it's just, I'm trying to be consistent.
Got it. Ms. Perkins, do you have anything to add to this discussion?
We put this on the agenda thinking that the commission would be appointed last night. What council, or what the mayor asked for was that anyone who's interested in serving on either the Planning and Zoning Commission or the Historic Preservation Commission, write him a letter of interest with the qualifications of why they feel that they would be good at serving on the board. So everything's
even current
kind
members?
of, what?
Even the current members?
Yes, even the current members, because technically, everybody's term ended at the end of last year. Some of you were serving a bit longer, but I think it was only because the mayor had never formally appointed anyone.
No, that can't be the case, because it's staggered 3 and 2. You
Right.
don't have, and we were all re-upped according to plan last year. The only thing that we have is between January and now has been an issue.
Okay, so
So there's several of us that,
It was staggered for December 2012 with a term ending, and then 2013
13.
with it ending. And then what the clerks have on file is nothing from December 2012 as far as the next.
No, that is not, doesn't have accurate information.
Okay, because usually the terms are for two years.
But they don't all
So then
start
they
at
would
the
all
same
stay.
time.
I
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm not sure I
You
have
can't
good
do that to a
information.
commission. That would annihilate your commission.
Right.
Plus,
well,
we lost a member.
Right, and the mayor understands this.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I don't have good information, and I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out, but I think it would be best if everybody who wants to continue write a letter of interest with their qualifications.
Okay, and then do you want me to talk to Mayor Baroni about the fact that you can't even think about replacing the whole commission at the same time? And he understands the staggered thing?
He understands that, yes.
Okay.
Yes. He understands the need for continuity.
Yes.
Yes, because we
Okay.
did discuss that.
Do you want me
I offered resignation when he was elected. He didn't take it.
Well, see, and I don't have it in front of me as far as whose terms ended in 2012.
Do you want me
those
to get that
terms-
to you? Because I have it.
I have it too.
Okay.
Those terms technically should go in for another year yet.
Right, I was brought on in December 2012 on a 2-year, and then there were some people that were brought on a 3-year. And Rachel she left ahead of time because she moved.
Okay, so if you have that?
I do have
yes,
that.
That'd be very helpful. And
Okay.
if there's actually, if you can give me a date or when that happened, was that done officially?
Yeah, well, Mayor Cordova did it, so it
Okay.
would have been official.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
There's
Yeah,
no-
we can,
there's no-
that'd be great.
There's nothing on file or profiles? I mean,
Well, I have a
submitted my
spreadsheet.
resume so many times.
Yeah, me too. He said they
You have a
will.
big file.
Yeah, right, no, I know. Well, I'm just saying.
I'm new, so maybe I don't have accurate information,
okay.
but
So how do you guys want to handle it? Do y'all want to write new letters? Do y'all want to tell me, does anyone here not want to be considered again? Or is everyone go with being considered again?
Can you tell the mayor that we all are interested to continue?
yes?
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense to me that existing commissioners who have served as commissioners in sequence without break, when the time comes for a reappointment, should indicate in writing that they wish to serve another year. As far as a letter of why they wish to serve or credentials, that was part of the process for a new commissioner. I think that perhaps we can think in terms of that being a criteria for a newly appointed commissioner, but not something that needed to be done every year from existing commissioners. Every commissioner that's here went through that process.
Right, and the typical pattern, I did this for Mayor Cordova in December last year, 2013. I wrote him a letter because I asked the commissioners what their wishes were, and I wrote Mayor Cordova a letter and said everyone wishes to stay and that Rachel was leaving. And then he made the decision to wait until possibly a new mayor came on to pick in March. So we've just kind of all been
I know, I
hanging.
know.
But I did send that letter, every year I send that letter to the current mayor in December, and after I've polled the commission to see who wants to stay and who doesn't want to stay. So
Plus we
that's
were
the procedure, usually.
Excuse me. Plus, we were canvassed by the mayor's secretary in November or December.
Right.
They were asked to just respond if we wanted to continue as a show of confidence. And
I get what's, we
No,
can
it's like-
wade through this. It's not as hard as some things we do.
Exactly.
So there's a motion on the table, though, and I want to know if I have a second, or if we're going to change the motion,
Also,
or we're going to drop the motion?
I'd like to, I'm not clear on the motion, but here's the thing. I want to add one more thing. We are delayed, according to our bylaws, in appointing the commissioners for this year at the request of the then-current mayor who wished to delay until after elections. But I do clearly remember being asked to submit an email in writing to the office, to the administrative office, whether I or any other commissioner wished to serve in 2014, and I did that, and that was submitted. That should be a matter
all
of
did it.
record.
Okay, so I repeat, there's a motion on the table. What do people want to do with this motion?
What is the motion?
The motion is to alternate, to change item 7 to change 6 and 7, flip-flop them so that the matters from Historic Preservation Commission come before staff, and to
Election officers
Flip.
becomes number 8.
7A and
That's fine.
7B.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, so those in favor?
All right.
I
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay,
So
I have one,
Commissioner
go ahead.
Palacios had concern that we're not fully appointed, whether the timing for election is correct, but we have no guarantee that we're going to be
Right,
fully
we-
staffed next time or the time after or
Right.
ever. So I say let's just go ahead with it.
We'll do it because we're already
Okay, we'll
4
take
months,
it
this
up.
is 4
It's
months
on the-
late.
It's on the
Okay.
agenda, so we'll take it up then.
Okay, so time out just a second. I had just one question now, because normally we approve minutes after the agenda. Why is that in a different place this time? Just curious.
Is it somewhere
Oh,
else?
it's 6A.
6A.
Might have
Oh,
been
okay.
evidence.
We're still learning this software.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
I just thought maybe there was a
that's
real
all there
reason.
is to
Okay,
it.
no problem. Okay, Citizens Forum, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak at this meeting? Would you like to speak about anything, Carolyn or Paul?
Well, depending on what you all end up talking about with 6B, then, yeah, I mean, we were told that if we could answer questions or whatever.
Oh, so it will come down to.
Okay, if you want to wait for that, I will ask for public input.
I nominate Cindy Spray to be the chair.
We aren't done with Citizens Forum.
Oh,
God.
I spoke as a citizen.
Then get out there and get sworn in. And get sworn in like a proper citizen. Okay, Mr. Figueroa, do you have anything to say? No? And you, ma'am, would you like to speak during Citizens Forum?
She's with me.
Oh, okay, good. Great. Well, welcome to everyone. Welcome to everyone.
Seconded.
Okay, seeing no citizens wishing to speak during Citizens Forum, we're moving on to actually item 7B, which is now 7A, which switched with 6, which would be election of officers. You always get your way, don't you, Commissioner
Nominate-
Lucas?
Okay, I nominate somebody else. then.
Okay, go ahead, do whatever you want.
Nominate Cindy Spray as the chair. Since she's been doing a great job.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So there's only two of us?
Aye, there's 3. Okay, we're good to go on that.
I nominate Oscar Palacios as vice chair. No seconds.
If, do you want to do that?
If you guys want me to, I will. If not, it's
second that.
fine.
Marika, okay, Commissioner Choma has seconded it. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous again. We don't need a secretary, thank goodness, because we have Martha.
Madam Chair,
And
can
Amy.
I bring something from staff and and direct the staff to reopen the issue of prohibition of jailbreak in town limits?
Okay.
I think it was before your time where the prohibition against jailbreak went before the council and it was shut down.
You're out of order.
Oh, what else is new?
You're going to have to wait a minute.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to do Taos County Courthouse right now. Discussion and possible direction to staff on proposed improvements to the county courthouse. Do any of you know what that means?
I don't.
Okay, so I'm going to explain that because the architect, David Henry, could not be here tonight. That is the county, that we're talking about the old county courthouse on Taos Plaza, and I put this on the agenda because I wanted you all to know about it. And I'm not sure, since it's a government building, if this commission has to rule on it, but I still wanted you all to know on it. Is that true? Since it's a government building, we do not have to?
I think we do have to do the certificate of appropriateness.
Okay,
So,
so here's the deal. In the old days, during fiestas, the queen and her court used to go out on that balcony, and elected officials, people used to go out on the balcony on the front that faces the plaza. And you can no longer do that because of OSHA restrictions unless there's a balcony railing. It is not going to be a permanent railing. It's going to be up there during events where, just to satisfy OSHA. It's not going to be something that's there all the time. It's removable, in other words. And it will be historically accurate. I'm going to ask Mr. Henry to come show us the pictures. But I wanted to let you know that that's in the works or being talked about. And then on the back of the county courthouse, rather than putting in an elevator at this time, they want to do an ADA ramp and build a kind of up above the rocks in the back, build a stage so that you can have music events back there in the back behind the courthouse during the summer. That would be taking what's known as the McCarthy parking lot, which is between the public restrooms and the dumpsters. There are 12 non-metered spaces there, 2,300 square feet, where you could have people sitting and watching music and so on. It's to create another music venue downtown beside Kit Carson Park that's closer to the plaza and more in the core of things. So the county is talking about both of those projects, and I just felt that I wanted to bring it as soon as possible to this group so that y'all could start thinking about it and picturing it. Have I explained it well enough?
So you're just giving us a heads up that that's in the hopper?
I am doing that,
Because
exactly.
I have a lot of questions about
Right.
both of those issues.
Okay, maybe if other people don't have questions, you and I could talk, maybe I didn't explain it well enough, or
No,
probably
I'll
was
wait
this-
till the presentation.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I like this, well, I'll say what I'm feeling. I like the idea of a stage. I don't want to see it cluttered with a ramp. I think that stair that's back there is not so cool. I mean, I think it detracts from the building. Part of the reason for an elevator was to clean up some of the facades. So I'm just, a handicap ramp goes up 1 foot and 12 feet.
I know.
So it's a
It was-
long ordeal, and it needs handrails and landings, you know, so.
My understanding is it was meant to be a temporary solution until the money could be raised for the elevator. The elevator is the ultimate goal, which everybody wants that, but that's more expensive than the county employees building a handicap ramp so that the building could be used, could be ADA accessible more quickly. It was not it's not to be a permanent structure.
I know, but temporary structures are sometimes blight the landscape because they end up staying
Yeah,
forever.
they become permanent.
They're
Okay,
temporary and
yes.
permanent, and I even have some, in some of my buildings before we have done temporary this and that, and it just stays and stays. So I just am concerned. I'm concerned about how that building looks, and I'm concerned about the stairs that are on the inside, that they're not conforming, how they should be addressed. So, I mean, there are issues about the thing. The stage is okay as long as they were conducive, and ways to get up to it for the performers and stuff would be good. We just need to be careful adding to the facades of building with quote-unquote temporary things. And so, if it's temporary until something gets done, I would rather push for that something to get done somehow, because elevators are just items. They're not like $1 million.
No, I know.
I mean, they're like
I appreciate your.
100,000, 125,000 could put a nice freight elevator in there, I'm pretty sure, for 2 levels.
I appreciate your input a lot, Commissioner Palacios, and good points. Does anyone else have anything they want to say? As I said, this is mostly
Well, I'll wait till the
something that I
presentation,
wanted.
but I'm just saying, I don't want them to do a bunch of work and then, with the idea that then, I mean, you know, some preliminary stuff so that we could get a grip on it. But just, anyway, that's
Okay.
my concern.
Does anyone else have anything else they want to add to the discussion on this item?
I think we'll just wait.
Okay. All right, so that, I believe, was 7B, the new 7B.
And we just
All
skipped
right.
6 completely, is that right? Or
No, we're going to go to it after we do 7.
or matters?
So now we're on 6C, signs in the historic overlay zone. And Commissioner Lucas, do you want to mention right now the Jake break thing?
Yeah, were you here when this went before the council?
No.
Yeah, and it did go before the council, the old council, and it was shut down. I think the new council will see it differently, will see the merit of it. You know, we're worried about air traffic over Pueblo and vibration destroying adobe buildings, yet the vibration of Jake brakes resonates through town. Anytime somebody employs Jake brake on Paseo or Kit Carson, gravel trucks, sand trucks, big trucks, you can hear a mile and a half away. Plus, they do vibrate structures. So I hope that the merit will be recognized by the council once it gets before the council. Thank you.
The Taos Inn and the building that's just north of the Taos Inn have pictures that actually fall off the walls sometimes when they pull the
There you
Jake
go,
brakes
there
in
you
that
go.
little skinny area. It's definitely a problem for the walls of those buildings and
For
Probably the foundations,
those people
too.
who don't know what jake brake is, it's when the truck's engine is employed to slow the truck down.
So it
Not the
backfires.
brakes. So it's like, backfiring, closes the valves or whatever it does, but it's very, very noisy and disruptive.
Right.
And we're surrounded by towns. Cuesta has a prohibition against jake brake. Santa Fe has a prohibition. I'm not sure
You see them
about
when you enter a
Espanola.
town, it says Jake brakes prohibited. Mhm. And it used to be politically impossible to get this put through, but it no longer is. So we were wanting to try it again.
Okay.
And while we're on the subject of adding new things, I wanted to not forget the mural discussion and not forget the open signs in the central business district that are still blinking. And the ones that are not, the whole sign thing where we wanted them to be handmade or something, not bought at Sam's Club or Walmart. Anyone else have anything else you want to throw into the hopper so it doesn't get lost? And then we're
I
going
wanna
to move
throw
on to
some-
7C.
Some sign stuff. You guys had David Mapes send me a picture of what it would look like. So he sent me a couple of the signs for Kit Carson,
Banners, you mean?
banners.
Yeah.
Anyway, I made copies for you guys, and
Okay.
one for you, or one for each of you guys. I didn't comment because I felt, to him, I'm just showing it to you guys. I just feel there's a lot of clutter on the street. I don't know. I'm really more concerned with the hardscape and keeping our buildings beautiful. This business of signs and banners and flowers, it's all good. It's what, and the sandwich signs. For us to be involved in some of those things is kind of a stretch to me, but I know it gets out of hand. So with all due respect for all the work that David has done, and he's trying to make this a nice thing, there's just a lot going on, and this just adds more. That was just my impression of it. I didn't want to get into trying to redesign it or anything with him. I just felt he started doing that on each historic street. I wish there was another way to just put a banner or something, or just said Kit Carson, and just put a dozen signs on that street and another 8 on Ladue, and I just don't see the. That was my comment. So I balked when I saw this. I just.
Okay, well, as I
That's
recall, this commission doesn't have was this an item that we really just gave him general approval on? We really didn't have the right to make a decision on that.
Right.
That's right.
The
It
other
was
thing,
not up for
the
an
other thing
official
is,
decision.
there is so much over signage downtown, but I don't necessarily think that looks sort of, I think, pretty nice, but there's all these clutter signs where people put up signs and then they put new signs and they didn't take the old signs down. That is a huge issue, I think. The downtown master plan was supposed to take care of that issue, and if we can recoup that money, that $75,000, that'll happen. But anyway, definitely there's a problem with over signage all over. You can't even drive by and read them all at one time. So
Well, I think
that is something that
they're
should
in
be.
competition with even the Kit Carson house. I mean, at a certain point, you're like,
I see what you're
all
saying.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Well, I see what you're saying. However, I do think we don't really have the right to
No,
say
that was
yes
just-
or no. Just a comment.
it was, you guys said that, I was asking for what it would look like,
Yeah.
and he sent me this picture, and when I saw it anew, I just, my reaction was that it was kind of out of our
Purview.
purview, and so you're agreeing that it is out of our purview, so I'll just.
It is, but I always like to hear I always love to hear what you think.
Well, it's just,
So,
Getting
Martha,
cluttered.
we added then Jake Breaks to be back on the deal on the scope of work and also murals and the open signs that are not in compliance in the central business district. And you got all those? Does
Yes.
anyone else have anything else that they want to throw in?
And the
there?
sandwich signs I also heard.
Yeah, and the sandwich signs, which are that's just for Taos Plaza, those sandwich signs at this point.
Right,
is
and
what I
Oscar
understood.
did kind of bring up sandwich signs like other places.
Right,
Yeah.
but right now in the code, it says it's for Taos Plaza
Right,
itself. yeah.
right, the current code, yes, yes.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
I apologize for messing up the whole
Yeah, you
agenda, but I have to leave.
Color me surprised. Okay, goodbye. I want to talk to you, though, about that other thing later.
Just text me. call me,
Okay,
whatever.
all right, I will. Okay, so now we're going to move on to item 7C, and for those of you in the audience, we're moving as fast as we can because we know that you're here for 6B, I think it was. 7C, signs in the historic overlay zone, discussion and possible direction to staff on backlit signs.
So backlit signs typically are boxes that have lights in the back of it, and then you have like a graphic on the front. And most places are trying to get away from that. It's my understanding that with the sign code, when it was revisited the last time, that it was decided that backlit signs were okay, except for I don't think they're allowed in the historic overlay zone.
Right.
So then there's also been a request from several different people about Tuesday morning sign. And they backlight their letters with these bigger bulbs. They're not LED bulbs, but they're bigger bulbs. And I actually had somebody from the public when I first got here asked me about that sign. So I called them and they said, well, that's their franchise sign. And I noticed that they were individual letters, so they're not typically what planners consider backlit signs because they are individual letters. We did take some pictures, and I believe that they're in your packet. I put this on the agenda because of a commissioner asking me to, and I would like to hear what your comments are about it.
I have strong feelings about it. Would you like to address it?
Not at the moment. I would prefer to hear your strong feelings first.
Well, I think it's an incredible eyesore, that sign, that Tuesday morning sign. It's when you first come in up the hill into the district and you look, and it's huge and it's red. And to me, it's backlit because it's lit from the back. I mean, I understand your difference, the way that you planners describe a backlit sign, but from your average person, if it's backlit, it's backlit. So I have strong feelings that I think it is inappropriate in the historic district, especially right downtown. And partly I think that because of my own impression, and partly I think that because so many people in the public have said, can you get rid of that sign? What is going on with the sign? So those are my strong feelings.
Well, I think that, if I might add to that, I think that we might think in terms of a differentiation. When we have got a business that is branded nationally, and if they have a certain signage that they are using consistently as part of their brand, I think we really need to think about coming in and insisting that they not use that particular sign
Excuse me.
because they're in our historic district. It might be more appropriate to understand that that is what they're using everywhere. It is their branding and their recognizability, and we might think in terms of considering that when they are applying for a space to live in the historic district, if that's really going to be an issue. I don't know that we can turn around and ask a national company, Walmart or a Tuesday morning, to change their branding on their signage. Yeah,
Did they apply for a sign permit for this?
They did apply for a sign permit. It was before I got here. It's been my experience because I've worked with several franchises and we haven't liked their signs. And we have managed to get them to revise their sign layout. So most franchises will actually work with you, particularly if it's in a historic district. So, I mean, we just need to add this to our new code revisions.
And then it won't be grandfathered in if you do it that way?
Well, that's the problem with this particular sign, is it was approved by staff previously.
They have signs, they have lamps that hang over and face face the sign, maybe a compromise would be that they could use the lamps that hang over and face the red letters, and they would light them that way. That might be a compromise, because why do they even have those? There's no bulbs in those. They just have the, you've seen them, they're on this
Yes.
picture.
Yes.
It seems like that might be a compromise. I
I
mean,
kept
I just think it's very destructive to the ambiance of the downtown. Go ahead, Commissioner Palacios. Mr.
Well,
P.
they're confronted with this all over the country. I mean, they have to change their facades to comply with local ordinances. They have the bucks to do it. I mean, they're successful here Tuesday morning. I don't know why not ask them to do that. I know that we get muscled around by the big stores. It's part of the trouble. I mean, if you ask Walmart, we have asked Walmart to landscape, and they come in with fancy talk, and they might plant a tree or two, but they let them die. They take no pride of local stuff. That's my opinion. McDonald's, they put them in New York City. They have to make their signs smaller. There are compromises. I mean, you can't get rid of their logo, but it's not unusual for a historic area to say your sign is bugging the citizenry.
Right, I would see this,
You know, so I think it's appropriate to ask for them to come before us with a better deal. I mean, you know, because it's hurting their image in our place. Wouldn't they like to be compatible to, you know, I mean.
good neighbors.
Well, I can call them and ask if they consider changing their sign.
Because given how much feedback I receive from being on this commission from the public, I wouldn't be shocked if, and I wouldn't do this, but I wouldn't be shocked if the community started a petition against their sign, and that's just going to get ugly. Yeah, that would be, maybe they'd be willing to try it if they front-lit it and see how it does. Tuesday morning, the people that shop there are going to shop there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like nobody knows it's there. It's huge. The building's huge. The letters are huge. It's just it's like this bright red thing when you drive in at night, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It destroys really at Christmas, the Farolito look on the buildings and stuff. It's kind of, it's just not in compliance with what we all
The thing
think.
is, what process, if any, did the signage go through for Tuesday morning? Was there no process? Did they apply? Were they allowed to do that sign at some
Martha said
point?
they got a permit from the former, was it the former
And,
planning director?
the tricky part is asking someone to amend a sign, irregardless of whether they are well-funded, after the fact. So there needs to be some sort of criteria in place, or I would imagine at least some
Martha?
indication in our code, and that's already come through for us to say, well, we let you put it up there, but we'd like you to change it now. And
Martha, are you
I think
willing
that's
to
something
have
we need to think about.
Are you willing to have a conversation with them and see where it goes? Are you comfortable with
Yes,
that?
I'm willing to talk to them.
Okay.
Often if you ask, it's amazing what you can receive.
Yeah,
Never hurts
Just
to
by
ask.
asking, right?
Right.
So I'll try that avenue. and
Is
then-
everyone okay with Martha asking them and explaining what's going on?
I think procedure is paramount here. You can't be threatening lawsuits or anything about it. It's just, it's a good neighbor relationship
Right.
to ask if they aren't willing to do something. And if they have stuff up there that's not even working, they need to take responsibility for it.
Okay, so that's our direction.
Yes, but the other thing that also comes up in my mind is, when we're talking about changes to the code as far as signage, and I'm wondering if you want to not allow red signs in the historic district. Because I'm also
You mean
hearing
that
red.
big?
Well, that's something to think about, because you're talking about your open signs too. Those are red typically. we don't want to really allow those. There's some, right now, we got to do some code enforcement on that, but, yeah, just thinking about it, do we even want red signs? You know, they're back, that have the separate letters that
We-
are LED
Yeah,
or,
we don't, I think a couple of years ago, we asked that there be no neon or LED signs. No LED already is against code, but no neon signs that are store-bought, that are not custom-made, artistic. Like this ice cream cone at the
Right.
chocolate shop is something we think is great. The ones that you buy at Sam's Club that flash or don't flash, that say open, that you can buy for like $9.99, we have already asked that they be removed from the central business district, at least the Plaza area.
right. So,
I don't know that the color matters so much as the
What is
the
it about
neon
red?
also looks backlit, although it's not.
What's wrong with red? I don't understand. I'd like to know what's wrong
So,
with red? And when is it red? What kind of red? I mean, is it a little pink or?
Yeah, I don't think it's the color so much, it's, it's the
Well, I'm just
backlit
asking.
red sign, and then those neon signs, or the ones that you, I think they're neon, those cheap open signs, I don't know what they're made, they're LED maybe, but those LED signs are not even permitted in the historic district, right? By code now.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So we just want to get rid of the stuff that's like $9.99, made in China. If it's a custom-made sign, I think that we all talked about, they would bring a drawing of the sign here before they went to have it made, and we would just say, yeah, that's
We
great,
did.
let's go with that one. I think that's where we left it last time.
But I still don't understand what the discussion about red was.
Martha just brought it up as a suggestion to curb the problem, probably.
I didn't know if red was part of the issue. That's all I asked.
Yeah.
No, you're asking the question, so I guess I'm reiterating. I don't know what the problem with, I mean, a red
Okay.
light bulb isn't too cool.
We have the red light district. Nice. We might make more money downtown if we had that. Okay, so we're going to move on to
Instead of
item
parking meters.
6A, which is in a different place than usual, and it's consideration of possible acceptance of the HPC minutes from March 12, 2014. Has everyone looked through those, and does anyone have any changes, additions, changes, approval, motion?
They look fine to me. Well, I perused them.
I did too. I read them. They look fine to me.
Yeah, I second the motion.
Okay, there wasn't a first motion yet.
Go ahead and make a motion.
I'm not supposed to unless no
No,
one
she
else
can-
will. Okay, you make the first motion then. You make the
Oh,
motion.
to
You seconded
approve the
it.
minutes?
Yeah. Make the first motion. We didn't have a first one yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood, and I thought that Mr. Oscar did. I don't know why I thought that.
He just said they
I
look okay
will make the
to me.
motion to approve the minutes of March 12th, 2014.
I second your motion.
Nice. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Further discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Marika, since you made the motion, I'm
Aye.
assuming yes. Okay, good. Item 6B, coffee area behind Taos Art Museum at the Fechin House. Discussion and possible direction to staff on accessory use for the Taos Art Museum at Fechin House. Okay, and I would like to invite up anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this issue at this point.
Yay.
And if you come up, please, and stand here by the microphone, and you'll be sworn in.
Facing that way?
You can face us, but you're good.
Hello, can you hear me?
Would you state your name, please?
I'm Susan Fisher. I'm the Executive Director and Curator at the Taos Art Museum at Fechin House.
Oh, nice to meet you. I've heard your name.
Nice to meet you, too.
Martha, would you swear Ms. Fisher in, please?
Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? It's not really needed.
Oh, it
'cause
isn't, if it's not a public hearing. Okay, never mind. You can't lie to us
I'll tell the
still,
truth
though.
anyway.
Yeah.
I figured you would.
No lying. You're right. I forgot about that. I'm so used to swearing.
My
people
name
in.
is Elvis Presley.
And I'm alive.
The reason that we are bringing this to you is that it has occurred to us that the patio behind the Fechin House on the property of the Taos Art Museum at Fechin House is a lovely patio area that people enjoy coming to. It's free, it's open to the public. The only area that we require admission for is in the house itself to see the exhibitions that we install there. The studio, the museum store, of course, the garden and the grounds are free to the public. We would like to create an amenity there in order to enable people to buy coffee or have pastry and make it kind of an off-the-road meeting place. One of the issues that we noticed in going to meetings at some of the other historic properties in town is A, the refreshments aren't available, and B, in areas like the Cafe Renato or the bar at the Taos Inn, it's right on the street, and when those brakes start hitting, or even when the motorcycles go up and down, it's very loud. And we think we have a place that people would appreciate and enjoy and use as a public amenity.
I have a question. So if you're at the Fechin House and you're leaving through the door that you normally enter into the museum, if you're backward at the door, the gift shop is still in the same place, I presume?
Yes,
there to
that's
the
right.
So are you talking about an area right in that area?
On the patio, right, between the house, essentially between the house, and in that triangle between the house,
Right.
the gift shop, and the garden.
Got it,
Yeah.
Right.
got it. And is this something that comes before us because there,
We wanted to make sure, we just didn't know if we needed to come
Okay.
before you or not, so we're
Okay.
being careful. I've only been at the Taos Art Museum at Fechin House for a year, so I'm not acquainted with necessarily all the processes I should go through.
right. No, I'm glad you're here. It's good to hear, it's great to hear about it. So do any commissioners have any questions for Ms. Fisher?
Yeah, and the only question, because you brought this up, is I imagine this is seasonal, yes? I mean, it's an outdoor space.
Right.
Right.
This would only be in, while we're open to the public, and it would only be in the summer.
In the warmer months. when
Exactly.
it would accommodate the patio.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
We want
Thank
it
you
to be
very much.
wonderful.
Okay.
You don't have any real close neighbors there?
No, the closest neighbor is the World Mark by Wyndham, which is separated from us by 2 areas of parking.
I'm familiar
yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And you aren't, at this time, are you intending to have outdoor music at night there?
No, we do offer space rental for people who want to rent the area, say for a wedding reception or something. But we make it very clear what the Town of Taos ordinance is regarding outside music. No, it's just to have coffee and refreshments. I have to say, we have a little free treasure hunt for kids to take them around the grounds, and while the parents are waiting around, like to
that
serve them
sounds
coffee.
No, and I'm not against music, I just wanted to make sure you knew that the noise ordinance, I think, is 10 o'clock. I'm not
Yeah.
at all against any music, anywhere.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good thing. Okay, anyone else? Commissioner Palacios, you always have something to add, so
just-
where is it?
Well, I think it's a great idea. I would like to see some drawings, because it's just so hard to kind of imagine.
Did you see the photograph? Did you see the photos?
Well, I mean, I've been at Dawson at the inn when Ida was,
Yeah.
or whatever, excuse me, a little short
Photographs,
bossy gal, got me doing it. Anyway, so, no, I love the building. It's probably one of the finest buildings in the state.
Thank you.
I would like the whole grounds to be addressed by you guys, because one of the outstanding events that you have are the Russian Nights.
Right.
And you put those tents and things out there, and you ask people to dress up, and the women have heels and whatnot, and they're walking around in this damp grass, and everybody's stumbling around.
It's
I
kind of a
mean,
stumble thing.
Well, so that should be, professionally addressed by landscape or a regular architect in terms of hardscape. I think it should be allowed. It's something that should be looked at excuse me.
You'll be glad to hear that we did raise money in a restricted fund last year to address the upgrading the grounds and landscaping. So we're doing our best to make it an appealing look from the sidewalk and from the drive, and also to, for instance, we put in a temporary ramp. It is temporary, but we put in a ramp to the front, what we use is the front entrance, which is really the back porch of the house.
Okay.
So that people aren't going up and down the steps, and we
To the main level.
we set the flagstones more securely in place. So I hear you loud and clear. Yeah, we're working on that.
So it would be, if you're going to bring anything before the planning and zoning or anything, it would be nice to see your kind of overview master plan of that. And I think putting patios and having activities for people there is wonderful.
Great.
That's a nice place to hang out.
We'll sure keep you informed of the landscaping project as it goes forward. It's mostly a matter of improving what's already there and stabilizing what's there.
Sure.
But new plantings as well. And
So are you guys doing anything about like where you put those big tents and stuff? I mean, you know what I'm talking about,
there's,
don't you?
the tents come, I do. The tents have floors. We rent floors for the tents. And it's true that people walk on the grounds between the tent and the house. But this year, the whole event, we trust, will happen under that one large tent that goes out in front. And that does come, the rental, with an engineered floor.
Oh, what about your silent auctions?
That's all going to happen.
Or actually, they're auctions.
That,
they're not
actually,
even
this
silent.
year, that has to happen in the tent because we have all the Fechins on loan. Come see the special exhibition
Oh, cool. Okay.
in the house. So we're not going to be able to allow people with food and drinks in the house.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioner Palacios, don't wear your high heels next time you go to that event.
I was looking forward to seeing him.
I know, huh? Anyway, I don't think so. Thank you. Thank you for
very
letting us know. Carolyn, are you going to come talk too? No? Yes? Okay, you're not going to get sworn in, but we do all need your name.
Carolyn Hinsky. Sorry, you're way taller than I am. We don't have, because I've been thinking about a drawing, because I didn't include any kind of drawing with the photographs. We don't know yet who's going to be supplying any of the pastries, but it will be a licensed person, definitely, that we'll be purchasing pastries from. And we don't know yet if it's going to be just another wrought iron table, like the patio tables that have the umbrellas that aren't in the pictures, or if it's going to be an actual cart, small, very small kind of cart. So as soon as we nail that down and figure that out, I'll be sure to get pictures of you guys.
Are you considering buying local pastries?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Do you know, there was a pastry cart on the Plaza last summer, and they made unbelievable pastries. Do you know those people?
No, do you know, who was it?
Her name is Laura Spruance. And if you give me your phone number, I'll get you her phone number.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still in the process of talking to different people. With that.
Also, if you're looking for gluten-free, which is something that some people do seek when it comes to pastries, you may want to look up Deborah Lapatina, who is doing the
heard that name.
donuts and a variation of pastries that are gluten-free.
Okay, Carolyn, I take that back. Can you write down her phone number?
Yeah.
It's 909-261-8149. And they're two local women, and I'm telling you what, those things, unbelievable.
Excellent, thank
Yeah.
you.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they're still willing to do it or doing it, but they're great.
Well, because the planning commission told us that we would, that whoever runs it, it'll be run by us, but that we need to make sure that it's a licensed kitchen, obviously.
Yeah, they
so.
make their stuff at TCEDC. And they were approved by the health department to sell on the Plaza, so I'm sure they're okay to
Perfect.
sell where you are.
Great, good. Great, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming, you guys. Paul, you still don't want to say anything? No. Oh, Paul. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thanks so much. Saturday.
Thank you very
Public
much.
free public opening, the new Fechin show.
This Saturday?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Okay, now we must be on 6C. No, yes, we are, okay. State Historic Preservation Office Assistance, discussion and possible direction to staff on future projects with state HPC, and a possible grant application for an update on the contributing historic properties survey. Oh, this is exciting.
So
Nice.
I was talking to Barbara Zook, the number that we have. So she was talking about, I'm going to go ahead and let's start with the contributing historic building survey. So she was saying that there is a 50-50 match, that, and that the town would do, obviously, a 50%, but we don't necessarily have to do cash. We can also do hours, like working hours, if we can find a staff member to take on a certain number of hours for those type of things. Right now, they're in the process of, the application already went through in October, but they're hoping to still have some budget, and so we'll find out in the next 3 weeks if there's going to be another call for applications that we would be able to put in an application to do the contributing building survey. And we would need to get it done, I believe, by September. So we'd have to move really quick to get that done. Then she also mentioned the possibility of somebody becoming a CLG, which is a community, and so it would be that's what I get for using an acronym and not like writing down the actual words. And so they would oversee some of the different grants and things through the process. She also talked about, because there was funding from SHPO for the Historic County Courthouse Condition Assessment and Preservation Plan, that they would like to see sketches at each step as soon as sketches come in, so that they know what's going on and that they're kept up to date with any projects on the county courthouse. And she also mentioned that through the Main Street program, that they have planning sessions available that are 2-day workshops to kind of, it would be, if we wanted, to get all of the different entities, the different, so county, the Arts and Cultural District, the town, everybody together and pointed in the same direction when it comes to our historic district. So that's
They
always.
do have that,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's an option as well.
I can request that from New Mexico Main Street if you all would like me to do that. I can do that.
Okay, so there is no current mapping of the buildings at this time, is that right?
The most
it's-
up-to-date survey that we have is from 1996.
Okay.
There was one done a few years previously, but it was not up to SHPO standard, and so they would prefer a new survey.
What's the cost? What's the in-kind match?
She was saying, on average, they estimate 20,000, so it would be a 10,000 from the town.
It's not hard to make that in time, in kind. It's not hard to get to that number.
Okay, so the survey that was done in 96 is in that notebook, and that's?
This is half of it.
Well, there's actually 3 volumes.
3 volumes.
This-
Is there a map at all of the area that would, have a number of each building on there or anything like that? Is there a cross-reference to a map of any kind?
I think there's a map. I don't know if it cross-references.
Well, I mean, that's,
So, like a map that has, like a dot on each.
yeah, like
yeah.
Building
Not that-
47B, or, if it's an apartment thing or whatever.
Not
I'm
the-
just visually oriented. I mean, to go through, so
At
these
least-
buildings are classified in there one by one? Is that what's going on?
Yes, there's pictures of each one. They're organized by street name, and then we have the plaza.
Okay, like for instance, then what about the Dragonfly buildings? Are they in there?
I only have I have R through Z.
When we did the
R
Dragonfly
through Z.
buildings, they were non-contributing.
Well, no, but
So
I mean,
that-
were they in that, were they,
They may be
Given
contributing
that that
one
thing
now.
may be,
Right, right.
that thing may be incomplete, I mean, not to their standards, it's still probably is there any way to get us copies of that? I mean, like,
We can get a copy of the newest, the
96?
last- well, this is 96.
I know, but you only have,
Well, I have all
One of-
3 volumes, but I only have R through Z.
Right here.
Right here in front of me, so I
Okay, well-
can't look up if Dragonfly is in
Here, I was like.
this, because I only have R through Z at this moment.
well,
But-
I'm just saying, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to like throw this out necessarily. We may want to evaluate what we have and make it part of that survey somehow. I mean, but we want to know what it is that we're giving. In other words, that thing sits on the shelf, so when a building comes before us, is it part of the process that it gets looked up in those archives, or are they just kind of just there? I mean,
Yes, because of the code requirements.
you did look up that.
Yeah, because of the HOZ code requirements. If it's a contributing building versus if it's a non-contributing building, that all contributing buildings should go before the Historic Preservation
So
Commission.
does that one, if I
We
may,
need to
does
update
it
it.
does it call the buildings out as contributing or significant? That
Yes,
This book
yes,
does, yes.
yes.
But it's from 1996.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's more recent than the maps that we had way before from like 1950 or something.
Commissioner Tomah?
I would like to make a motion at this point, because I'm understanding that we're talking about a possible grant application. So I would like to make a motion to proceed forward with that grant application. For an updated contributing historic property survey.
I'll second that motion. Further discussion? Commissioner Palacios? No?
No comment.
Do you not want this to happen?
Well, I just feel, I like to be sequential on things. I think to go ahead and have that is good, but I would like to figure out a way to make sure that what we have isn't just ignored or somehow, that it's part of, that it adds, that it takes that and builds on that or takes away from that.
I really, please, I don't understand why you have a sense that we will lose what we have if we apply for a grant funding to update the historic contributing buildings. From what I'm understanding, what we have of record is dated and is dated. So an update would sound to me like an improvement. I would not think that we would dismiss what we have of record, but possibly add to it. So I need to understand.
I guess I'm always a little hesitant to just SHPO tends, in my experience with them and historic buildings and so forth, they're pretty thick bureaucracies, if I may, or it's a lot of bureaucracy. What I was stumped at, if I may, was that we were told that what was done in '96 did not meet their approval.
No, 96 was approved. It was the one 5 years ago, a more
okay.
recent one that was not up for their approval that we're not using. That wasn't up to their standards. So that,
Okay.
we're not using that one. We're using the 96 that was,
Okay, so
so
That
that
clears
was.
it up.
we're asking for clarification and upgrading of that?
Yes.
Huh?
Yep.
Well, you made the motion, so just vote now, because what?
I seconded it. Okay, enough discussion. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous again. We rock. Okay, so now we are going on to item 6D, continuation of discussion on historic overlay zone revisions, consideration and possible scheduling for a work session to create a draft of a revised historic overlay zone to incorporate some of the changes previously worked on by the commission and possible updates. Okay.
Yes, we're finding this coming back to you every month, like really hard to condense and get some real momentum going. So our suggestion to you is that we have a work session where we can start to really hammer this out and actually write code, get this done.
Well, there's the special work sessions, are you imagining are to be attended by planning and zoning and the commissioners, who, only the commissioners, who do you see in the session, special work session?
I was saying that we'd start with the commission first, and I mean, those are open meetings, so we could get public comment there, but at the same time, yeah, I think it sounds like you guys have a very good idea of what you want. All we need to do is get it on paper, and then we can air it for, more comment. But when we talk about just the signage, for example, we've talked about that in several meetings. So we have the existing code, and then we have what we're proposing, and they're actually different. And so there's some confusion with that dialogue that goes back and forth. I mean, it even happened earlier in this meeting. So I would just like to, actually sit down and start writing this stuff. I don't think it'll take that long because you have already done so much work on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't most of this written in the stuff, in the material that Marika found and gave to you?
Right, and some of it got taken out, and some of it was, the environment section was added in, and some of it is, like, how do we write it so that when somebody's applying for a certificate of appropriateness, that they have something that they can use to actually put that application together? Because, and then for the staff, writing the staff report, some of this stuff is a little too gray, or it's not,
Right.
it's not like criteria that you can go through and write to. It's very hard to write a staff report the way the current code is set
Well,
up.
I also seem to remember at that same time that we were discussing this, and that I believe that a more recent update of the very final was actually discovered in the Planning and Zoning Office. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. And it's my understanding that the commission had worked on it and added things like color and more specific details, and a lot of the detail information was taken back out. So we are still using certain colors and requiring people to adhere to those colors, but I don't actually think it's in the code.
Well, it
So
sounds
those are some
as
of the
if,
holes.
it sounds as if what these special sessions might be about is really narrowing down where those areas of ambiguity are, or the areas that you refer to that are difficult, and all sitting down together and resolving those, or resolving any questions about that or ambiguity. Is that right?
Yes,
So
yes.
do you have that mapped out already?
We have a pretty good idea, thanks to, again, a lot of the work that you have done previously, and then the versions that we found, we can map it out pretty good. The problem is
Sure.
there's like 4 different documents, and so that's why it would help if we actually sat down and concentrated on it.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you've done all the footwork, so now is the time to sit down and go for it. That's good.
Exactly.
so
I
do
think
you
that's
have
in
any
order.
idea when you'd like to do this?
Tomorrow?
No.
No?
You look at your calendar?
You'll need to give notice to the public.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so it can't be, it has to be 2 weeks from now or something, or?
Well, we're
mean, I
not
don't know.
actually taking code to be adopted.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would have to do the 15-day notice period. This is a workshop, so we only need 72-hour notice.
Okay.
It's more what your schedules are like,
Right.
and, you
It's
know.
more in the format that we used when we first started reviewing the design standards. Well, if I can just speaking for myself, I'm very much in favor of this last stretch. We have
Right.
done most of the work, and I'm very much in favor of that, and would appreciate your suggestions as to just timing on when everyone is available to be able to work together.
I can't do it next week is out, but the week of the 21st, I have a lot of available time. Do you know about the 21st?
Of April?
Next week starts with the 14th, and I'm pretty booked for next week, but the week after, I have lots of time, and the week after that, I have lots of time. So far, but catch me while you can.
Yeah. That's why we need to schedule something.
Right, so how about you,
Well, we couldn't
Commissioner
do- We couldn't do
Palacios?
it without you,
Well,
Madam Chair.
I'm not going to be the chair in that. I'm just going to be a
No,
person.
no, you're not going to be. I think it's good that we get everybody, and I would hope that we even have our,
Pavel?
well, everybody, and our new appointees and stuff there also. I mean,
That'd be good.
I think it's great. I think it's a next step.
How's your schedule
we couldn't
after
do
the
it before.
21st?
It's probably fine. I usually attend this stuff
How many hours do you think it's going to, how many hours you're looking for? 2, 3?
at a time.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
No, I suggest we get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if that's the case, if it's not a whole day thing, I could do Thursday next week. Or Friday. Thursday, not Friday. Next week, if it's Thursday, I could do 3
What
hours.
time?
Doesn't matter on Thursday.
What date is that?
That would be April 17th.
April 17th. I could do that or any time the following week.
It's Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fine to me.
So,
Are you good with that?
what time?
Thursday,
What time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Somebody bringing coffee and donuts, or?
Oh, we can do that.
Well, they used to,
let's do the morning. How about in the morning?
long ago.
Okay,
Can we
9 to
do
12?
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Okay.
What time?
9 to 12.
3 hours, wow.
In case we need it, we might not need that much.
And I was thinking that,
Or you might have lunch delivered and keep going.
I was thinking that that I would ask for the training room over in the town hall, because there we can lower the screen and we can get a computer and we can, project it on the screen and we can actually work on
Go
this.
through item by, oh, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
okay.
That's actually where we did all of our work on the last round.
Well, we met in the conference area too, the chambers.
Okay, so Thursday, April 17th, 2014, in the training room at Town Hall from 9 to noon. And Ms. Perkins, will you alert Commissioner Lucas, please? Send him an email?
Well, it should be,
Because I'm afraid he won't come if I ask him.
it should be a, you'll make an announcement anyway. I mean,
Right,
you
but
have
he
to set
should
the
know
time.
right
It
away
might be
so he can-
10 to 1, or I don't know.
He should know right away. Just
Are you
give-
guys
get an
available
email.
even?
Yeah, we'll make the time.
Okay.
All right, so
Cool.
we set for that date and time? And where are we meeting? What room?
The little,
Training room.
behind the
Okay.
bathrooms.
Yeah, next to the bathrooms.
See you then.
Flush.
And where did we leave I can't remember where we left that Main Street suggestion to having them come up and work with us. Are you going to talk to them, or do you want me to talk to them?
I
or-
can. They have a new, SHPO has a new person, and they were going to send her up just for introductions. Her name is Carla. And she also was down the other week running one of these meetings down in Artesia or Roswell. So she
Okay.
could also help run the meeting if we
Uh-huh.
wanted her to,
Okay.
from the SHPO side of things. So I can talk to them about it if you guys want.
Okay,
That's not a
great.
problem.
Thank you. All right, does anyone have anything else before we have a motion to adjourn?
I was going to ask, Marika, were you able to attend that community meeting that meets on the third Wednesday of each month? Did you go to?
10 meeting? Absolutely.
And did you glean anything in there that was significance to the Historic Review Board?
In fact, they vary in subject matter. They are very, very well attended. The day that we made the decision as a commission to change the date and time, in fact, one of our commissioners, Pavel Lucas, headed up to that meeting that was still going on. The room was absolutely packed. There must have been like 75 people there. And I showed up shortly afterwards, and it was an excellent presentation. I'm only sorry that I missed most of it and only came in on the tail end, but the presentation was by the CEO, the newly appointed CEO for the Taos Ski Valley, discussing all of the new improvements and things that would be going on there.
Cool.
So as I say, subject matter and interest in various subject matters change, but it was quite an evening that evening. And I also would like to go one step further, and I would like to make a gentle suggestion that it might be a good idea, now that we are free to attend their meetings and vice versa, that we think in terms of making our own presentation and speaking to the Taos Entrepreneurial Network at one of these presentations about the Historical Preservation Commission, what it is we do here, and encourage their participation. Because they most likely, for whatever reasons, are not aware that we are doing things like working on revising the sign code, which directly affects all businesses in the historic overlay. And we're making decisions within the historic overlay that impacts businesses. It would be wonderful to have their input and have them attend. So, but without their really being a vehicle for them to now know that we encourage them to show up, this is the work that we done and we do, and encourage that kind of synchronicity, well, I imagine they won't be here. So I would like to suggest that that might be something that we might want to do very quickly, and actually be one of the presenters, depending on who on the commission wishes to do that.
Well, do you wish to do that?
I would consider doing that, yes.
I would consider.
You would consider allowing me?
Well, whatever it is you need for our blessing. I mean, you know.
Well,
Okay,
we
so-
are a commission. One thing that I do want to emphasize, that we are a commission. And as such, we should all work together and be informed of everything that is under consideration, whether we present it at a meeting or anything that we do. We need, I feel that we need to do it as a whole commission. So not, some star person walking out here and representing the entire commission, but in fact being part of the commission when
So
asked to do
you'd
so.
like to, you'd rather see a panel sort of a thing where we're all four of us are
No,
we're sitting up there?
What I'm saying is, I was joking with Oscar because he said, well, we'll let you do it. Yeah, if the commission, as a commission, feels that you would feel okay about my doing that, I'm willing to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, we changed our whole life around to meet today. and I want continued reassurance that it was
Yeah.
a good thing to do.
No, I would
and
do
so,
that.
like, if you're involved in it, I'm not trying to
I
be
see
offhanded about
real
it.
value,
but-
and I see real value in this, and importance in integrating the business community within the historic overlay and what it is that we
Okay,
do here.
so then if I'm understanding the commission correctly, what I will do as chair is I will ask Jason Pfeiffer to get the commission on the agenda to speak at a 10 meeting, an upcoming 10 meeting.
I'm sorry, say that again?
As the chair of this commission, I will contact Jason Pfeiffer and ask him to get the Historic Preservation Commission to have a little presentation on their agenda.
I've already been in touch with them about that. They're willing to schedule something anytime that we're ready.
Okay. And I would, then you let us know when that's going to be. So
Of
those of us
course.
that want to go can go. And then I think I'll also write the chairman of the board of 10 and invite him to have his board come be part of our meetings too. And then you can reinforce that in your presentation. Okay,
So,
that work?
and on that same deal, I would like to have on the minutes or the agenda a place for a representative for continuity on the planning and zoning and the historic review, to also keep us informed a little more formally that what it is that's going on in the I mean, I would like to be able to go to all meetings. I'm really tempted to go tomorrow. It sounds like a important meeting where the county and the town are going to get together at the county. And, you know, I like to be able to go to everything. There's just not that much of me of it. I mean, I have to make choices. So, you know, I'm just putting that, I'm just saying, if that, unless things are changing, that's, I would like more continuity in that.
So are we done with the discussion on 10 right now? Because we
Yeah,
made
sure.
a plan, we got a plan, we're going to stick to it. Okay, then I wanted to make an announcement about that meeting tomorrow that you just referred to. I would recommend everyone in this room that's interested be there at least for the 9 o'clock presentation of the economic development plan because it discusses regional economic development. And I think every citizen that could hear Matt Spriggs and Bruce Ross give their rendition of their recommendations, I think it's really important. I've read the whole study and I've heard their presentation, and I think all of us need to listen to what they have to say because they have suggestions, they have dire predictions,
And
and
the
they
date
have
and time of
suggestions.
this is when?
It's tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at the County Commission Chambers. And I imagine it'll be only 9 to 10. They're part of the presentation. They're first, I think, on the agenda. Are they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I think that it's really important. I hope all the merchants should go, people should go that rely on money being made in this place.
Yeah.
So I think they did a pretty good job. There were some things that I know that some people had issues with, but overall, I think they did a pretty good job.
Is our members of staff planning to be there tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Is it possible, I know that I cannot, my mornings, as a matter of fact, this next Thursday morning special session meeting that we mentioned on the 17th, mornings are my absolutely busiest time until about 3 p.m. I don't have mornings free, so I cannot attend this. It's not a matter of not honoring its importance. Is there some way that we can simply get a key summary of what has occurred at that so that we're kept informed?
Isn't that study, is it yet on taosgov.com?
Yes, the study is on
You can read it,
taosgov.com.
and you're good at
Where
reading.
is it, where?
taosgov.com.
Okay.
It would be under economic
So
development.
it'll be right there, that's great.
Yeah, it may be,
I wasn't sure because has the council approved it yet?
no, and if they were going to update the version that's out on the web. It was my understanding it was a prior version, it's not the final. So,
Do you want me to get one of the guys who wrote it to forward it to you tomorrow?
yeah, the plan was to update it. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping it is.
I'll ask Matt Spriggs to forward it to you,
Sure.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
because then you can read it in its entirety.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So,
That would be nice if they forwarded it to all of us.
would you like that? I'll ask him to do that.
Because I don't know that I'm going to be able to attend that thing tomorrow morning. And if mornings are not good for you, here we made, with only 3 or 4 of us, it's important that you'll be able to come next Thursday to that thing in the morning in lieu of your
I am, in
morning
fact,
ritual?
Next Thursday, the
Yeah.
17th, is
Yeah.
that meeting? Yes, I've made a commitment to come, but mornings are nearly impossible for me.
I know, but you know.
I'm
like-
making that space and have said yes.
Okay, I'm just saying.
My preference would have been 2 to 5 or 3 to 5, frankly.
Well, but those are important pieces of input, I think. Que no?
Que no, que no.
Well,
Sí. Okay, so you're okay with it this one time, or do you want us to consider changing it to the afternoon? You didn't speak up earlier.
If it's not a big problem for any of you, I certainly would like to change it to the afternoon.
What do you think, Martha? I mean, you know, it's like, well, I mean, you know, like if you say you're going to give up your morning to come to that, I mean, it's okay, but, you know, we should
No,
make
I
it.
start literally at 7:30, and I go straight through till an average 2, 3 without stopping.
Does it make a difference to you guys?
It does not.
Okay,
Well, let's
let's
meet
switch
at-
it to 2 to 5.
Okay.
2 to 5, that way it's a 3-hour session, and
That's good.
Does that work for you, Commissioner Palacios?
I'm the one
2
that
to
brought
5?
it up. Yes, of course. I want everybody to be sort of happy, you know.
Well, you've got that. Everyone's sort of happy. Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn? By
I'll
any
make-
chance?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Marika, would you like to
Yes.
second it?
Yes.
All right, we're going to adjourn this meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission on April 9th, 2014 at 6:50 PM.
We're
Thank you
signing
all.
off now.